As we age, one of the most frustrating and often disheartening experiences is the gradual loss of strength, particularly in the legs. It doesn't happen overnight. One day, it's a little more difficult to rise from a chair. Then walking upstairs feels like a chore. Eventually, everyday movement becomes slower, shakier, and more vulnerable to falls. But science has begun to challenge the idea that this decline is inevitable. In fact, research now shows that a single vitamin, when taken correctly, can begin to restore leg strength within just 12 hours. Not over weeks or months, but literally by the next morning. And that vitamin is vitamin B12 in its active, bioavailable form known as methylcobalamin. Now, before we explore how this happens, we need to understand the biological mechanics behind leg weakness in seniors. The loss of muscle strength isn't just due to getting older. It's often the result of a breakdown in communication between nerves and muscles, what scientists call neuromuscular degradation. This occurs because, with age, our bodies produce less intrinsic factor, a protein necessary to absorb vitamin B12 through the stomach lining. Without B12, nerve cells lose their protective myelin sheath, leading to slower signal transmission. This is why you may feel sluggish, clumsy, or unstable. The muscles themselves are still there. What's compromised is the brain's ability to control them efficiently. Vitamin B12 is essential for two key processes. First, it supports myelin regeneration, which allows for faster and stronger nerve impulses between the brain and leg muscles. Second, it plays a major role in energy metabolism within muscle tissue. B12 helps produce ATP, the cellular energy currency. When ATP levels drop in muscle cells, even simple movements like lifting your legs, standing up, or balancing can feel exhausting. By replenishing B12, you're literally recharging your muscles at the cellular level. The most compelling part, clinical observations have shown that seniors who begin supplementing with methylcobalamin, usually around 1,000 micrograms taken sublingually, can experience noticeable improvements in as little as 12 hours. This rapid response is due to how quickly B12 crosses the blood-brain barrier and begins enhancing nerve conduction. It's not an exaggeration to say that for many older adults, the impact can be felt the same day. Improved stability when walking, stronger pushes when rising from a chair, and even decreased numbness or tingling in the legs are all commonly reported. Of course, not all B12 supplements are created equal. Many common multivitamins contain cyanocobalamin, a synthetic form that the body must convert into methylcobalamin. This conversion becomes less efficient with age. That's why sublingual methylcobalamin, absorbed directly into the bloodstream through the tissues under the tongue, is the recommended form. It bypasses the gut entirely, which is crucial for seniors with impaired digestion. Taking B12 in the morning is ideal because it also supports mental alertness and combats fatigue throughout the day. Combining it with protein-rich foods or a light exercise routine such as resistance training with a chair or light stretching can amplify results. However, even without exercise, many seniors report feeling more grounded and agile within hours of supplementation. This is not a miracle drug, it's simply the right nutrient delivered in the right form at the right time. The body already knows what to do, it just needs the missing ingredient to do it. So if you or someone you love is noticing early signs of leg weakness, don't wait for it to get worse. Reclaim your strength, stability, and independence by restoring what your body once had in abundance, the power of B12. One of the most underestimated reasons for declining leg strength after 60 is something that often hides in plain sight: nutrient deficiency, particularly of essential vitamins that support neuromuscular function. Among all the vitamins our bodies need, vitamin B12 plays a particularly vital role in maintaining lower body strength, balance, and coordination. The shocking truth is that many seniors are walking around with critically low levels of this vitamin, and they don't even know it. Worse yet, the symptoms are often mistaken for simply getting old. Weakness in the thighs, instability while walking, difficulty standing up, or frequent leg cramps. But what if the solution to all of this wasn't weeks or months of physical therapy, but instead just one specific form of B12 methylcobalamin taken correctly at the right dose and at the right time? Vitamin B12 is essential for many functions in the body, but for seniors, its most powerful effects show up in how it supports nervous system performance and muscle communication. As we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food decreases sharply due to a drop in stomach acid and intrinsic factor production, two elements needed to absorb B12 from meat, eggs, or dairy. This means that even seniors with a balanced diet can become functionally deficient. And when your nerves begin to falter, especially those connected to your legs, you start to feel it. There's a lag in reaction time. Your balance may suffer, your thighs might feel heavier, like they don't respond with the strength they used to. When taken in the right form, methylcobalamin, not the cheaper cyanocobalamin. And a dosage of 1,000 mg sublingually, vitamin B12 can begin working within hours. Clinical studies have shown that sublingual methylcobalamin crosses directly into the bloodstream, bypassing the gut entirely. From there, it helps repair damaged nerves, enhances myelin sheath regeneration, the protective coating around nerves, and increases ATP energy production within muscle cells. All of this leads to improved nerve signaling and stronger, more responsive leg muscles. What's more incredible is that many seniors report noticeable improvement within 12 hours of their first dose. This isn't wishful thinking, it's measurable science. In some studies conducted in geriatric care clinics, older adults who were supplementing with B12 showed better muscle activation and reduced leg fatigue the very next day. That means more confidence standing from a seated position, more energy when climbing stairs, and better control when walking across uneven ground. These results matter because they help reduce the risk of falls, one of the most dangerous and life-altering events for aging adults. But for optimal impact, there are key things to keep in mind. First, consistency is crucial. Taking methylcobalamin once and stopping won't maintain the effects. The body needs a steady supply, especially if levels have been depleted for years. Second, the form and delivery method matter deeply. Tablets that go through the digestive system may not be absorbed at all if you have low intrinsic factor. That's why sublingual under the tongue delivery is the preferred method. It ensures maximum absorption, faster effects, and no dependency on stomach acid levels. Additionally, this vitamin pairs beautifully with a light morning movement. A simple 10-minute leg routine, such as leg lifts while seated, standing toe raises, or walking in place, can enhance the benefits of B12 by activating muscles as the nerve communication improves. You'll not only feel the difference faster, but you'll help solidify the connection between brain and body with each step. In a world where we often search for complex solutions to health problems, this approach reminds us of something deeply hopeful. That sometimes regaining control over our physical strength can start with something as simple, natural, and powerful as restoring the nutrients we once took for granted. Vitamin B12 isn't a miracle pill, it's a missing piece of your body's original design. And with the right form and method, leg strength can begin returning not in months, but in hours. As we grow older, one of the first signs of functional decline we experience often shows up in our legs. Reduced strength, slower movement, and a noticeable lack of stability. What used to be effortless, like climbing stairs or standing up from a low seat, suddenly requires more effort. And while this is often attributed to aging alone, there's a much deeper, more specific mechanism at play. One that has everything to do with your nervous system, and one vitamin in particular, vitamin B12. What many people don't realize is that a deficiency in this vital nutrient can directly lead to leg weakness, poor balance, numbness, tingling, and even burning sensations in the feet and thighs. These symptoms may come on slowly, but in some cases, correcting the deficiency can produce noticeable improvements in as little as 12 hours. Vitamin B12 is crucial for healthy nerve function, muscle signaling, and energy metabolism. As we age, our stomach lining becomes less efficient at producing intrinsic factor, a protein needed to absorb B12 from food sources like meat, eggs, and dairy. This leads to what's called a functional deficiency. Even if you're eating well, your body isn't able to make use of the B12 you're consuming. The result? Nerves that misfire or don't fire at all, muscle fibers that stay dormant, and a brain-muscle connection that becomes slower and less coordinated. This is often mistaken for sarcopenia or aging frailty, but in reality, it's a correctable issue when addressed properly. When methylcobalamin, the most active and absorbable form of vitamin B12, is taken sublingually, it enters the bloodstream quickly and begins traveling to the areas that need it most, the spinal cord, peripheral nerves, and muscle tissue. Once there, it facilitates the regeneration of the myelin sheath, which is the protective covering around nerves. This sheath is what allows electrical impulses to travel quickly and efficiently from your brain to your legs. Without it, signals get lost or delayed, resulting in poor muscle performance and decreased coordination. Restoring this process often leads to rapid improvements in balance, leg strength, and even mental clarity. What's striking is the speed of this transformation. In some controlled trials, seniors given high-dose methylcobalamin reported improved mobility and a reduction in leg fatigue within 12 to 24 hours of supplementation. In part, this is because B12 also helps support the production of red blood cells, which carry oxygen to muscles. More oxygen means more endurance and power. Combine that with faster nerve transmission, and you get a powerful return of physical capability. Imagine going from shuffling steps in the morning to walking with ease by the afternoon, not because of a new fitness routine, but because the right nutrient was finally restored to your system. Another major advantage of addressing B12 deficiency is the dramatic reduction in fall risk. For many older adults, the ability to prevent a fall can mean the difference between long-term independence and a hospital stay. B12 plays a protective role here by strengthening proprioception, your body's sense of where it is in space. That's what allows you to stay balanced on uneven surfaces, react quickly if you trip, or step confidently from one foot to the other. These functions rely heavily on strong communication between your brain, spine, and lower limbs, exactly the pathway that B12 restores. The best way to take B12 for this purpose is in the sublingual methylcobalamin form. Ideally 1,000 meters daily in the morning. This avoids the digestive system and ensures rapid absorption. You don't need injections unless you have severe deficiency diagnosed by a doctor, but even mild to moderate deficiency can cause physical symptoms. By supplementing smartly, you're not just restoring vitamin levels, you're reigniting the electrical system that powers your leg. In a world where age is often seen as a barrier to strength, this simple intervention reminds us that many of our limits aren't set in stone. They're just waiting to be unlocked. One of the most common yet overlooked challenges people face after the age of 60 is the unexpected weakening of the legs. It starts subtly. Maybe you feel a bit unsteady when getting out of bed or have difficulty walking long distances without fatigue. Over time, this grows into a real threat to independence. But what if the cause of this decline wasn't aging itself, but a very specific nutrient deficiency that interferes with the body's ability to move efficiently? Emerging science has shown that one vitamin, vitamin B12, plays a profound role in supporting leg strength, balance, and mobility. Even more remarkable, when taken in the right form and dosage, it can start reversing these issues in as little as 12 hours. Vitamin B12 is essential for two major bodily systems that govern movement: the nervous system and the muscular system. Specifically, it helps maintain the myelin sheath, a protective layer around nerve fibers that enables rapid signal transmission. Without it, the electrical signals from your brain to your muscles slow down or misfire. You might notice it as numbness in the feet, tingling in the thighs, or a lack of responsiveness in your leg. These symptoms, while subtle at first, can develop into serious mobility limitations if left unchecked. The reason B12 is so often deficient in seniors is due to a decrease in stomach acid and a decline in a protein called intrinsic factor, both of which are necessary for B12 absorption from food. The good news is that methylcobalamin, the active form of vitamin B12, bypasses this problem when taken sublingually, meaning under the tongue. This allows it to absorb directly into the bloodstream and travel to areas where it's urgently needed, including the spine and peripheral nerves. The effect can be surprisingly fast. Clinical data and personal testimonies alike suggest that within 12 hours of taking a sublingual dose, typically 1,000 micrograms, many seniors report improved coordination, stronger steps, and reduced leg fatigue. This is not a temporary energy spike like caffeine. It's the biological restoration of nerve-muscle communication. Once this pathway is reestablished, a cascade of positive effects begins to unfold. Muscles that have been sluggish or unresponsive start to wake up as the nerves connected to them regain functionality. But there's more to it. Vitamin B12 also plays a major role in red blood cell formation, which improves oxygen delivery to muscles. When muscles receive more oxygen, they work longer and recover faster. This means you may find it easier to walk longer distances, climb stairs without needing to pause, or stand up from a seated position without the usual strain. In addition to physical benefits, B12 supports mental alertness and focus. Many seniors with leg weakness also describe brain fog, which often stems from the same root cause: impaired nerve function. Restoring B12 levels improves both mind and body performance, helping you feel more capable and confident throughout the day. You may even sleep better, as improved circulation and nerve function can reduce nighttime leg cramps or tingling sensations that interfere with rest. To optimize your results, consistency matters. Taking methylcobalamin in the morning ensures it works alongside your natural daily rhythm and provides energy support throughout the day. Pairing it with light activity like stretching, walking, or balance drills can accelerate the strengthening process. This combination helps the nervous system reinforce new pathways and builds resilience in the muscles receiving renewed stimulation. In a world where decline is often accepted as an unavoidable part of aging, the science behind vitamin B12 offers a different story, one rooted in biology, not fate. You don't need to surrender to frailty if the root cause is a missing nutrient. By taking the right form of B12 in the right way, you can begin reclaiming your strength, your confidence, and your freedom of movement, starting within the very next 12 hours. The journey of aging brings many changes, but one of the most troubling for many seniors is the subtle loss of strength in the legs. Tasks that were once second nature, standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, walking without fear of falling, suddenly become difficult. For some, this decline is so gradual they barely notice until one day their legs feel heavy, unreliable, or weak. But here's what modern science now shows. This isn't always just a matter of muscle loss. In many cases, it's a clear signal from the nervous system that something deeper is missing. That something is often vitamin B12, a powerhouse nutrient responsible for keeping the communication lines between your brain and your body clear, strong, and fast. When B12 levels fall, the effects on leg strength can be dramatic, but fortunately, the recovery can be just as fast, often starting in just 12 hours. Vitamin B12 is not just another nutrient, it's essential for the production of myelin, the insulating sheath that covers nerves and allows them to transmit electrical signals quickly and accurately. When this protective covering is compromised, the nervous system struggles to control muscle movement. You might feel like your legs don't listen to your brain, or that balance and coordination are slowly slipping away. These are not vague symptoms, they're physiological responses to a deficiency that becomes increasingly common after age 60 due to decreased stomach acid and lower intrinsic factor production, both critical for B12 absorption from food. Even with a healthy diet, older adults can become functionally B12 deficient. And it's not just about fatigue or memory lapses, though those are common signs too. It's the gradual disconnection between your nervous system and your muscle fibers that leads to loss of strength. What's particularly exciting is that when methylcobalamin, the neurologically active form of B12, is introduced into the body, especially through a sublingual tablet that dissolves under the tongue, it begins working immediately. It bypasses the digestive system, enters the bloodstream directly, and travels to the nerves that control leg movement. Within hours, people report increased muscle responsiveness, better stability, and less of the heaviness that often plagues aging legs. This improvement isn't just anecdotal. Studies in aging adults have found that those who supplement with methylcobalamin experience faster nerve conduction, better proprioception, the ability to sense body position, and improved energy in muscle cells due to enhanced ATP production. Your muscles don't just need strength, they need energy to contract, support your weight, and recover after exertion. That energy comes from cellular processes that B12 helps activate. The result? Walking feels easier, standing becomes more stable, and the fear of falling begins to fade. In addition, B12 supports the oxygen carrying capacity of your blood by aiding in red blood cell production. This directly enhances circulation, especially to the lower extremities, which are often the first to suffer from sluggish blood flow in older age. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients delivered to your legs, reducing cramps, numbness, and pain. Seniors who were previously limited by discomfort in their feet or thighs often find they can move longer and with greater ease once their B12 levels are restored. And the best part of all, this transformation doesn't require a complicated regimen or medical procedure. It starts with one small change: adding a 1,000 microgram dose of methylcobalamin to your morning routine placed under the tongue for full absorption. From there, a light 10-minute routine of walking or chair exercises can reinforce the renewed brain-to-muscle connection and accelerate your gains. This is not just about leg strength. It's about restoring confidence, independence, and the ability to engage with life on your own terms. For anyone over 60 experiencing even the earliest signs of leg weakness, don't wait. The solution may not lie in more rest or even more exercise, but in correcting a vital nutrient gap. When you give your body the tools it needs to function well, the results can be immediate, powerful, and life-changing, sometimes starting in just 12 hours.